You're now tuned into Mic Check Waifu. Hello and tell, is that you?
Mic check. Mic check, waifu. Demon Lord hitting in the leaf. Is that you?
How long am I going to be a Demon Lord for? When am I going to be a good guy again?
Good question. Are you still listening to the podcast Time to Speak?
Yes, always.
Demon. This is episode 97 of Mic Check Waifu. As always, it's brought to you by Lube Complex. Make sure you go to lubecomplex.com and use that offer code waifu to save on your entire cart. Also, check out don'ttalkshop.com. Ad coming later. Yo, quick shout out to our Patreon producers, Monique Williams, Connor, explicitly, Treeses, and our boy, Aaron Brown. Thank y'all so much for supporting this and a bunch of other episodes of Mic Check Waifu. Your support means a lot. All of our Patreon supporters' support means so much to us. Couldn't do this without y'all, so thank y'all very much. This is episode 97. 97 is going to be a special episode because we've both seen the Demon Slayer movie.
Hey.
So we have that to talk about. We're also going to discuss some of our favorites through the spring so far and spoilers at the second half of the show for the Demon Slayer movie. So you can stick around. We're just going to give our overall thoughts a little bit later in the show of Demon Slayer and what we thought of it. Generalities, if you will. No spoilers. And we'll let you know when it's the spoiler talk.
Spoilers be spoiling.
Straight up. First and foremost, I want to start off by saying I caught a show that was in my planning that came out this spring that I completely didn't even watch until I think 2 episodes was out. Let me make sure that's right.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
You overlooked something?
I did. And it's something I'm surprised I overlooked, to be 100% honest with you. Here it is. It's got now forgive me, of course it's a Japanese name, so of course I'm gonna have trouble with it. It's Osamaki. It's a rom-com where the childhood friend won't lose. That's the entire title.
Osamaki, childhood friend won't lose?
Mm-hmm. Rom-com where the childhood friend won't lose. Now, check this shit out. This shit is fire. Real good so far. It's a slice of life, of course. Y'all know that's my shit. For those of you who listen to Mic Check Waifu for a long time, y'all know the slice of life.
With you.
Slice of life is my shit. This show is special. This is a situation where it's like I understand the main character because of the situation he's put in. Good main character. He is super oblivious though. He's like, again, typical slice of life rom-com main male character, where he doesn't quite see through like the obvious hints, right? So there's a situation to where this kid, he was a childhood actor, coming up in the game. His father was a stuntman, and his mother was also, she was I guess you can say an aspiring actress, trying to make it in the game.
Right.
And he was a real famous, he ended up becoming a real famous child actor because she couldn't get work, but he could. So she was living vicariously through him. So he wanted to do his best for his mother to make her happy and support the family. And he loses his mother. And that's kind of a big deal because that is when he stops acting, because she was acting her and like her whole best. Like the way she died is crazy. I'm gonna share it here because it's only like the second episode, I think. So she was acting like the best she could. It was a scene where she had to dodge she was supposed to get hit by a car, right? Quote unquote. She got hit by the car, but she acted so well that she hit her head on the concrete and died. So it's fucked up, but it happened and it was sad. But so he lost his mother. He feels like he's to blame for it because he was the reason why she wanted to go so hard so she can continue to be an actress, because that was very important to her. That was her dream. Again, she was living vicariously through her son. So he stops acting. He's in high school now, and shit is moving. He meets this girl who's actually a who's actually a light novel artist. She's extremely talented at what she does, like real good at writing stories. He goes to her and basically, essentially confesses, does he? He don't really confesses his love to her. He kind of shares, he's a fan of hers, essentially. And
Right.
when she thanks him for like recognizing her work, she's emotional about it and sad. And then that's when he initially falls in love with her. She's obviously one of the most popular girls in the high school because she's pretty, extremely talented, good at everything, blah, blah, blah. He also has a childhood best friend who is absolutely infatuated with him. And she's like so bold about it, but she know that he likes her. So she's like trying to get him to like her instead. And it's a really good fucking story with two very good female characters. Again, kind of like my teen romantic comedy Snafu. And with a main character he's not as good as Hashima, not even close, but he's a good main character. It's going to be another one of those where it's like, damn, is he going to make the right choice type of situations? Now, what's funny, do I want to share? No, I'm not going to share that. I think I'm going to stop right there because it's a very unique situation that gets put in. I'm going to wait until next week. Maybe some people that listen to us is going to watch it. I'm gonna wait till next week to go into a little bit more spoiler detail on like the story of this, because I feel like it's so good with the way it's doing this. Actually, let me just see. Perfect. Actually, I'm gonna share it because it's in the sub notes. So essentially, the very pretty writer was actually of a childhood friend of his too. But she dressed like a boy when she was younger, so he doesn't even realize it's her now. So her goal, because she felt like he stopped acting for other reasons and basically left her hanging as when they were childhood friends, she wanted to get revenge on him. And the way she wanted to get revenge on him is by literally becoming the most pretty, most popular girl in the school and then turning him down whenever he confessed his love. So he hasn't confessed his love to her yet, obviously, but she's planned on doing that. But she also just learned the real reason why he stopped acting, and it was because of his mother. So she's like now in love with him again. So it's crazy. It's fucking crazy and intense, and I love it so much so far.
I'm looking at it, and the art style looks really good.
It's so pretty. It's so pretty.
It's only 12 episodes. I think I'm gonna add it to my list.
Watch it, bro. Watch it. It'll be real nice if you watch this one with me. Real nice.
Bet. I like that. I'm gonna pick that one up too.
You got a good one for me?
Now, I did want to say, as y'all see on my backdrop right here.
Oh, yeah.
I made a joke on Twitter the other day.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Got a little bit of backlash. I said, good morning to everyone. Good morning to Vegeta fans only. Everyone else, forget them, right? Well, apparently, people didn't like my post, and I got a little bit of backlash for saying that. Now, the reason they got backlash for saying good morning to Vegeta fans is because the post consisted of a gentleman stating the fact that the only reason Vegeta is alive in Dragon Ball up to this point is because Goku spared him with his words, because Krillin was about to cut that man in half with Yajirobe's sword, which is a fact, right? So look, I feel y'all wholeheartedly, right? I'm a Vegeta fan because he's one of the only well-written characters in the entirety of the series,
yes.
if we're being completely honest.
That's
here.
a fact.
But we got to also face facts. That man was about to catch a major L, and y'all just got to deal with that. Let's be real. We got to be real here. This is Mike Check Waifu. We don't sugarcoat it like that.
Yeah, no, we don't. No, we don't.
So I just wanted to bring that out there. Just make sure y'all know that's why I got the Vegeta background for y'all. So y'all can either enjoy it or hate it. It's up to y'all. But we love it.
Hey, check out the YouTube version of this video. We do have an official YouTube now. All you got to do is just search My Check Waifu on YouTube and subscribe.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah.
But in other news that's not antagonistic, Shadow's house, bro. So it's still listed as a slice of life, but that mystery / horror kind of stuff came in this episode, and it wasn't a lot.
What episode are we talking about?
This is episode 4. No, episode 3. It was episode 3. In this episode, our main character El Miko was supposed to have a class, and the class is just supposed to be basically her learning about the what she's allowed, the history, all that kind of stuff. Well, what ends up happening is there is a breakout of what's called a scorch. A scorch, like all the shadows in this house are made up of soot, right? So the more angry they feel, the more that the soot kind of rises from their body. But when the soot gets collected into like large clumps, it becomes a scorch, which is like a phantom, a large black creature that roams around the house and attacks people. It can kill the dolls, that kind of stuff. So the dolls are scattering to fight the phantom scorch, and basically the how they take care of it is you have to clean it, right? Because it's that's their entire job, is to keep the home clean so that this kind of thing doesn't happen. Somebody wasn't doing their job, basically, and one of our dolls almost gets killed. She comes down with soot sickness, which basically she becomes like lifeless and has no recollection of who she is until they basically wash her entirely, like with water inside and out. It was kind of interesting because it didn't last long, but it was enough to like let us see that there are other things going on in this story that may have like larger impacts on the entirety of the show. Like if one of our characters that we know can control soot, which means that she may be able to also, like, there may be others who can also do that, who are causing this kind of problem. So I'm interested to kind of see where this is going. I still want to see like darker horror type stuff, but otherwise it's actually extremely wholesome and cute. Like it makes me feel like I'm happy to kind of watch slice of life.
Interesting. Again, me personally still don't think it's slice of life because of all these supernatural things that you're referring to. Hard to categorize it, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, monster. What's that monster Mutsuki-kan or whatever? The monster house where he had all the monster waifus. That was slice of life.
No, it wasn't. That's a lie.
What was it? Hentai?
I might as well have been, right? I'm a fan. But
You tried to just slide that in there real quick.
I just slide it in there, you know. Man, I do want to mention that this season is starting for me to the stuff that came in and I thought was going to be good is actually good. There are some stuff I'm starting to wind down from, essentially. Now, I can't seem to stick to Shaman King right now, and it's only because I have to go to the site that shall not be named to watch it, because Netflix did what they do, and they bought that shit up, so nobody can have it until it's done. So right. I kind of just want to wait until that's done to continue to watch it. Now I know it's going to be good, right? It's Shaman King, and from the 3 episodes that I did watch, it's real good. But I just can't sit through it right now. I just don't want it. I haven't been in the mood for it. What are some shows that just get you in that mood to where you just don't feel like doing it? Like for me right now, Shaman King is definitely it. Like I know I like it. I just don't feel like doing it right now. I don't feel like watching it.
Combatants will be dispatched.
Yeah.
I will also say, and I want to talk about the series as a whole, but To Your Eternity.
Yeah.
The latest episode, I almost didn't really want to sit through. And it wasn't like the beginning of the episode wasn't good. It was the ending of the episode just got really dull for me.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about To Your Eternity. So I only watched the first episode. You watched both of them. It's out right now. As of the time of recording this, we record on Sundays. Let's talk about that real quick, because everywhere on the internet was talking about how this show is spectacular. It's so good. And I watched the first episode. I'm just like, yeah, it's cool. I mean, I wasn't impressed. How did you feel about the first episode of To Your Eternity?
The first episode to me, I thought was actually really good. The first episode to me was I guess what I expected. Like, well, not what I expected. It was more than what I expected, because I didn't know what to expect.
Right.
I thought it was a really cool concept. I like this idea. Because it felt like there was a story being told, and more or less that we're going to get multitudes of stories from this entity that is obviously like God created
Mhm.
and is not quite understanding of the world, but is going to develop into more things. And it feels like we're going to get a bunch of different stories based on how that interacts with the
Sure.
world. I like that concept, but like I said, this latest episode didn't really strike home with me for how it's supposed to be done.
I noticed when the second episode came out, it was a lot quieter. Like nobody was all.
Yeah, I saw a couple people talk about it, but no one like hyping it, you know?
Yeah. I don't think it deserves the hype, to be honest. Again, the first episode was cool, but it wasn't that special to me. What I guess the most interesting part is that this God created thing that happens to touch something that is apparently dying. And
Right.
it's like omniscience power. Like it's cool, but it's like nothing. Like it's different, I guess, is all I got from it. I'm not,
Right.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just not that impressed by, I guess, the writing. The writing was cool. No, it wasn't. It wasn't even nothing to write home about either. I don't know. It's cool. It's okay. It's okay. I like the whole concept of this God created entity fucking roaming the world, though. I think that's going to be interesting. Maybe not. There's 20 episodes of this. And if you feel like the second episode was already getting dull to you, they got to pick it up.
Well, yeah. The thing is like the beginning of that first episode, it didn't start with our main character, object, whatever it's supposed to be called. But that wasn't the worst part of it. What made it bad was actually when our character was involved. It felt like it started to drag because of certain things. Yeah. Because obviously the character has to develop a personality, that kind of stuff. And it was like literally boom, halfway through the episode, our characters introduced and we're like, okay, you have no personality. So it literally felt like this. You know how, imagine watching a Studio Ghibli movie, right?
Right.
That moment wouldn't have felt so bad if there was another 45, 60 minutes left in the entirety of it. Like it was a movie.
Yeah.
But it felt bad because like this is a 25-minute episode and I felt like it was 12 minutes of nonsense for that episode. And I don't rock with that.
Okay. That's a good way to put it, because I understood exactly what you're talking about from there. Like, I get it.
Yeah. Like imagine if when the parents were eating all that food in the Studio Ghibli movie. Imagine if that went on for 12 minutes and you just watched that part. That's kind of what it felt like.
Got it. So, I just want to touch on this briefly. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but Nagitoro had a scene in it that was a little bit more interesting.
Ooh,
a little bit more interesting. So, it's starting to imply her feelings a little bit more. Briefly, she's still annoying as all shit.
Okay, so it don't seem like she just like that. I mean, I like him flirting, but she's bullying him still. Is it still very heavy like that, or what?
It's starting to wind down.
Okay.
Essentially, you start to see her get nervous in some instances. Like, you know, she's starting to come into her own feelings. I guess is what I'm trying to say, which is cool, which is what it should be. I'm glad it's happening now rather than later, because I would have dropped this after, because it was the third episode. Like, I would have completely dropped it, like never went back to it if what happened this third episode didn't happen, because I was getting sick and tired of her shit. Like, I was getting so fed up with her shit, it was pissing me off. Again, bullies ain't my shit. Like, I don't like them. I hate them.
Right.
But I am going to keep watching it. I do still have this irk in me, though, with her character that I can't seem to escape yet. I hope that changes. I hope that gives me a reason for it to change. But I'm gonna keep going. I do think we should talk the general feelings of Demon Slayer. If you're ready, only if you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. We can do it now.
Let's do it, because this is what the people are here for. Now, we both saw the Demon Slayer movie. Again, this part, we are not going to spoil anything at all. Don't worry. Don't have to worry about that. No spoilers. I won't tell overall thoughts. And yes, we are going to rate this movie. We're going to rate this movie in the second half of the show after our spoiler talk. So stick around for that. And if you're watching this broken out on YouTube, hi, subscribe, leave a thumbs up. We appreciate that. Because we're new to the YouTube, taking the YouTube thing seriously. So we appreciate it if y'all stick around and subscribe and all that good stuff. All right. So Tell, what did you initially think of the Demon Slayer movie? No spoilers.
There were parts that were way better than I expected. Like I didn't know really what like to go into expecting too much, right? Like we knew that Rengoku was a beast, and that's really kind of like what we knew, like what he was supposed to represent. But like we didn't really know what he was supposed to represent, if you know what I'm feeling like, right? Like we knew he was a Hashira, we knew he was supposed to be cold, but then we didn't really know what his extent would be. So
no spoilers.
No spoilers. So yeah, there were some just overall like there were moments where I just thought it was way better than I thought it would, and there was parts that were funnier than I thought it would be too. It kind of, I was laughing, bro. I was laughing.
Yeah, I must say there was absolutely hilarious part, but fucking Ufotable, bro. Ufotable. I swear to nobody does it better. Nobody does it fucking better than Ufotable.
You're right, and I want to talk about that too, but I didn't know if we wanted to talk too much about that.
No.
But there were scenes that just
absolutely. It was a scene
golden.
It wasn't even scenes that like the look of animation and angles that brought a fucking tear to my eye. It wasn't anything else that brought a tear to my eye, but it was the way it was animated. It brought the fucking tear to my eye. Like I literally was like, holy shit, sitting in this theater.
Two specific scenes that really hit me, and I will talk about them later. But two specific scenes that, like, with the animation alone, I was like, "Oh, this is
blown back,
disgusting." Oh my god!
I do want to say it did make me miss Demon Slayer.
Right.
The hate is unwarranted. I must say it. The hate for Demon Slayer is fucking unwarranted. Now there is some things that we're going to talk about in the second half of the show that we're going to spoil that I don't want to talk about here right now, but they're like. It's unwarranted, bro. Like
you also got to remember, Demon Slayer is the reason Mike Check Waifu is here in the first place.
It exists.
Not because we love Demon Slayer unendingly, but because we had to talk about it.
Exactly. And as a matter of fact, why not share that story? It's been a long time since we told it. We got a lot of new listeners, so I'm gonna share it with you here. The reason why I might check Waifu is because of Demon Slayer, and let me paint this picture for you. Okay, the picture goes like this. It was episode 11. Yeah, it was episode 10 and 11. I watched those two episodes. I'm like, man, I really want to fucking talk about this. Who do I know that watch anime? Initially, what's funny is I hit up Legal. Legal Overdose is a friend of ours who's featured on our After Story podcast a few times. Silly dude, super chill dude. One of my good friends on the internet that I met about 6-7 years ago. Crazy when I first started streaming. I hit up Legal. I'm like, yo, we should start a podcast. He's like, oh yeah, we should. That'd be cool. I'm like, what should he say? What should we talk about? I said anime. He's like, man, I ain't watched anime in a long time. I told him, never mind, I'm good. Because I just knew. And then Legal is not the most consistent person. Sorry, Legal, to put you out on blast like that. But he's not the most consistent person when it comes to showing up, if you will, because he has, obligations. He's in school. And so on and so on. Okay. I'm like, fuck. Why, after all this time, the person I've known in my life the longest, why the fuck didn't I call him first? Tell. I know Tell watches anime. Me and Tell are friends because of anime. Why the fuck didn't I call him first? So I shoot him a text message. I'm like, Tell, we should start a podcast. The first thing he does when he responds, let's do it. and from there, here we are. It started off, I didn't have a fucking clue what to name it. I texted him, like, man, what should we name this thing? He said, why not Might Check Waifu? Almost instantly. I'm like, well, goddamn.
We even tried to come up with a couple other names.
Yeah,
none of them just hit like that one.
Yeah, none of them hit like Might Check Waifu. I'm like, well, shit, man, this is just gonna work. Then I spent literally 2 weeks with me and Tell talking about ideas of how we're gonna do it and shit. I talked to my brother who's been doing podcasts since like 2004, like not 2004, 2014, excuse me. And like I used to like help him produce a couple of them, and I'm like, man, I know he's experienced with this, and he literally walked me through like, this is what you want to do, this is how you want to think about it, this is how you want to go about it, and from there, my Check Waifu was formed. But it's all because of Demon Slayer, because we just had to talk about it. Now I want to give a shout out to one of our listeners, Isaiah or Zay Pico on Twitter. He said the reason he found us is because he was looking for somebody that broke down Demon Slayer, and that's exactly what we did. Like,
right.
We used to call the second half of the show anime talk instead of spoiler talk. And we just broke down Demon Slayer, like the whole episode. We used to like talk through literally exactly what happened too, which was cool. But I don't think it was like viable because it was just taking too long. So we changed it up a bit and just kind of talked to general spoilers of the shit. But it's awesome to know that show will forever have a piece of history within this show. Now I can't wait to get to spoilers because there's a lot I want to. Actually, no, I can say this. I think Tanjiro is a lot better character because of this movie now than I thought in this show. Because in the show, I felt like he was kind of bland, but in the movie, he definitely grew on me. And there was an incident in there. Now I know you know what I'm talking about. That had me like, oh shit, this dude is a fucking beast. Now,
monster.
we gonna talk about that a little later. It's so hard to not want to go into it because I know a lot of people are still waiting for it to come to digital. We're recording this literally 2 days after release, so we kind of want to give people time to watch it, but we still gonna.
You got to do the spoiler talk.
We got to do the spoiler talk.
Who have watched it, but it's gonna be at the end of the podcast, so you can listen to everything before that. Beautiful though,
beautiful. Demon Slayer don't deserve the hate. I think, what did we give it? Let me look it. I'm going to go to miccheckwaifu.com/reviews to see.
I got it right here.
Oh, do you? What did we give it?
Demon Slayer, we gave it 8.8.
Which I think is right. And I think the lowest part of that score was probably the characters. I can tell you that I definitely probably rated that low because I was not a fan.
I think it was actually, and I hate to say it, I think it was actually the characters and the stories. The story itself. Because I know we like the sound design. I know we like the animation. Oh, no, it was the pacing. That wasn't the story.
Yeah, it was the pacing. So, yeah, and that's still, I feel like it's a warranted score. I feel like it's a good enough score to say that it's viable. Now, what's so great about this is you didn't read the manga, right?
No.
What's so great about this is that both of us going into this, how we just blind, right? Like I mean, I'm sure you was hit with some spoilers, and I kind of was too. But were you? You went hit with none whatsoever?
I
think you were because we talked about it in the episode, like the 40s. Maybe.
I didn't remember anything about this, so if I did get hit with spoilers, it didn't seem like
not specifically this, but the show in general, like the series in general, I should say.
Okay, yeah. Like I knew a certain thing was going to happen. I just didn't know it was this.
Yeah, I know a certain thing is going to happen too because I was talking to a coworker actually.
Dang, that's messed up.
Yeah, it was completely unintentional, but I was sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what that spoiler. No, I'm not because I don't know if you know. So, yeah, no, I'm not.
Whatever. I mean, I've seen a lot of spoilers for it now, so you can tell me whatever the spoiler is.
Okay,
but,
okay. I'll talk to you about it during the break, and then you let me know if I should mention it during the show.
Bet.
Deal. Yeah, man, good movie. I can't wait to rate it. I'm looking forward to rating it. Again, there was one part that I have to say that I'm just like, you know. But
I can see that. It's a part that actually that I'll also say when we rate it, you probably gonna be a little surprised. If you're surprised, I'm gonna be more surprised than you.
Interesting.
there's a specific thing in this. I was just like, oh, okay. I don't think I'm gonna like that one.
Yeah. I can't wait. Before we get to know my check waifu, let's talk about how great Tokyo Revengers is real quick.
Yes, that show is fucking fire. This episode, bro.
Yeah. I just want to say Tokyo Revengers is a must watch for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Tokyo Revengers and Vivi are the two shows I feel like, me personally, you should watch. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they are must watches.
Yeah.
Like, what Tokyo Revengers is doing with this writing, unbelievable. And already the main character I like a lot. And then his friends too. His closest friends remind me of our close friends back in Maple Heights.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, maybe we were a lot tougher than those guys, but
100%.
But how close they are, I think, is very, very, very reminiscent of what we were in the 8th grade. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Those characters in this series are just amazing. Like,
absolutely.
I loved the female character, like her moment.
Oh, Hina.
Shine.
Yeah.
That shit hit hard, bro.
Facts.
That slap.
Facts.
It was like, and the fact that they let us know that she was shaking.
Mm-hmm.
That part, all of that felt like a real heartfelt moment.
Mm-hmm.
And it also makes me think that obviously what our main character is thinking, that there's more going on to this story.
Right.
Because those guys don't seem as shitty as it makes them seem.
Yeah. And what Tell's referring to is that's episode 3 of Tokyo Revengers. Like, fucking fire episode. This is clearly the best episode. And to be honest, from the moment the show start, it ramps up and gets better and better and better each fucking minute. And the only problem we had was that episode 2 started with a recap that lasted like 5 minutes. And now we weren't feeling that at all, because you don't need that.
Yeah, we never need a recap like that. But once it got past that moment,
mm-hmm.
and like, well, yeah, that was episode 2. But once we got past like all of that kind of stuff, like, because episode 3 started off with like, it just started right off into the heat of it, you know? It got right to the action, and our character is kind of like tired of it. And even what he says is like, that's not enough to like break my weak heart, right? Like, he needs to have his weak heart broken so he can be who he needs to be to save who he wants to save. I was like, I love that vibe, bro. And the friend coming out the cut like, yo, I'm gonna have to shank this dude. I was like, oh, sorry about spoilers. But
sorry. I didn't want to go into too many spoilers, but that's episode 3, so you're fine. Just start watching it now. With the first 3 episodes, I promise you won't be disappointed. Like, Tokyo Revengers is special. Vivi is also extremely special. From the fucking man. Now, Tokyo Revengers does not have the animation. It doesn't. I'm gonna just be straight.
Not like this one. No, not at all.
Even like general, like it's okay. But fucking Vivi, which studios?
And the sound design for Vivi too is just top tier.
Like, oh my god, it's so underrated. This show, I think, needs more love.
The specific moment that really hits me for the animation and sound design is like when she kind of went into the AI like mental state, mm-hmm. and like the animation switches a little bit where it's like a little bit more saturated. It mm-hmm. looks like a little bit more like flattened almost. And then like you can kind of hear the sound of the switch. I was like, oh, I just love it. It kind of gave me chills. I was just like, that's good. I really like it. Puts you in the moment. Facts.
And my favorite part about the animation is literally just the close-up shots and the way that all of the AI look compared to the humans. There's a different, distinct look between AIs and humans in that show that is so important, but yet subtle. Like, it's super subtle, but it's super important. There's this one shine mark that it's always on their cheek, and then it's super shiny right there on their cheek. You would notice it now that I mentioned it once you start watching Vivi, I promise. And then there's this. Like, there's always these zoom up face shots of the android face to remind you, like, hey, this is an AI. On top of that, our main character, Vivi, or Diva, is technically is her real name.
Mm-hmm.
Her, I don't want to call it a mental because it's not her AI circuitry. I don't fucking know. Whatever you want. Her neural system is, she's an AI, so she's obviously super dull. But I can feel
her trying to learn and figure out the scenario.
I can feel something. Is it feelings? No, obviously not. It's AI, but it's something. It's something that clicks with me that I don't even know how to explain it because it's just that fucking good. And I think it's the writing. It has to be the writing.
And I think part of it is the fact that like they're trying to get us to see like, can AI intelligence develop emotions and feelings and stuff? Because that's where I think they're going to get to at some point. That Vivi develops those things. Like, yes, she has a mission, but what does that mission evolve into? Yeah. Obviously, we'll talk about that another time because we do have a lot to talk about with Demon Slayer. But bruh, I love Vivi just like you do, bro. Yeah. It's actually one of the bangers for this season
for sure. She's incredible. The show is incredible.
Yes.
And the overall implications of what's going on in the show is fucking mind-boggling to me. Yeah. It's for one, you gotta have fast eyes. I'm not gonna lie.
There's like 3 storylines.
Yeah. And they go by the subtitles go by so quick. So if you're not fast with reading, I'm sorry, you might want to wait for a dub or something or slow it down or something because they move.
He said slow it down.
do whatever you got to do because there's a lot of words in this show that if you miss a scene by blinking, you will miss a lot. A lot of important stuff is always said. But that's
Polo's got a point there, and I watch stuff in double speed.
Yeah, he's a psychopath, but that's okay. He's my psychopath.
That's true.
Man, what a crime to humanity. But I guess he's an AI, so it don't matter.
What? Never.
Robot Tail. Yeah, man. Good stuff, man. Let's get to know my check waifu and get into this Demon Slayer spoiler talking review.
You rolling the numbers, bro. We got 82.
Sir. 82 is the numbers? Okay. Random number. I forgot I was rolling numbers. Okay. This is the part of the show where we get to know Mike Check Waifu, where one of us rolls a random number generator and the other reads the question associated with that number. And the number tonight is 71.
Bet. Number 71. What do you do to stay fit?
Okay, so let's talk about me in my past because right now I'm not so fit. So before Tell,
we're not judging you, bro.
Before Tell get into his shit because he has a whole bag literally. Okay, for me, I used to do this a lot. Before I would work out, I would run 3 miles. No questions asked. I would just run 3 miles because I was always big on cardio and running in general. Okay. I never ran track or anything like that. Played a little bit of football, but that's neither here nor there. I was always about running and building up my, what you call it? You know, the fucking muscly terms.
Your cardiovascular system.
Just getting that loose always. Yeah. And 3 miles was probably too much, but I always did that. And then I would just do literal basic shit, like literal basic push-ups because I didn't have much to work with. All I had was more than enough. All I had was like a treadmill. So I would do push-ups. I would do 15 push-ups, and then I would do where you would push up, jump up, and then jump up in the air.
Burpees.
Yes, there it is. Thank you. Burpees. I would do that, and I would do sit-ups, 15 sets of that, and then I'll switch to push-ups again, 15 sets of that, and then do the burpees, and then keep going and just keep doing that over and over and over. And man, that was the best I've ever felt. Like before that, I used to go to Lifetime. I used to do everything at Lifetime when I could, but it was always starting off with that 3 mile run. And then I would do 2 more miles after I was done doing all of that, the sit-ups, push-ups, and burpees and shit like that. So I would run a total of 5 miles and then do all of that shit.
First things first, burpees is a psychopath's favorite exercise. So we know what Polo is if he loves burpees so much. I like that though. I mean, hey, it's literally a full body everything exercise. You do all of it basically.
That's what I try to do. Now I just sit on my ass and do nothing.
We're gonna work on that when we get you slide up out of there.
Yeah.
me, Monday is leg day. So I only do legs, maybe sometimes a little bit of back. I start off with 5 minutes of cardio, and then I end with 5 minutes of cardio. I do core every single day in between exercises, or I do like a specific 10-minute core like circuit. Just depends on what we do. It's Tuesdays, or the second day is normally chest and shoulders. Same thing, 5 minutes of cardio to begin, 5 minutes of cardio to end, and core every day. We never skip core. Wednesdays, biceps and triceps. Sometimes I add back, depending on if I did back on Monday. 5 minutes, cardio. We do the cardio every day. Thursday, back to legs, because fuck them legs up. And then Fridays, sometimes I do full body, like everything but legs.
See, now the difference between Tells and mine is that mine was done every 3 days. He's doing some shit every day.
It's so only 5 days,
yeah, which is cool, which is perfectly fine. And when I get there, I'm gonna be right there with you. I'm gonna have to start me off small, and then help me get this together. Because
we got you, bro.
We're gonna take this quick break, but when we come back, oh, you know what I forgot to do? Shout out to @_RobJ. I forgot to fucking finish the playlist for Spotify. God damn it. But when we come back from this lo-fi joint, that's going to be on a playlist that I'm putting together of all of my Check Waifu lo-fi songs, we're going to talk Demon Slayer. We're going to talk full spoilers, and then we're going to review. Maybe we should review first and then full spoilers. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Which is different than what we normally do, but I feel like we should. All right, we'll see y'all right after this. Hey, and welcome back to episode 97 of My Check Waifu, brought to you by Don'tTalkShop.com and Lou Complex. Patreon.com/MyCheckWaifu. Get access to the After Story podcast as well as early access to the video version of this podcast and some other exclusive content there too as well. Now we are going to review Demon Slayer Mugen Train first before we dive into spoilers. So anyway, this is the review of Demon Slayer Mugen Train No Spoilers. If you're familiar with My Check Waifu, we have a patented review scale that goes a little bit something like this. We take 5 categories. We rate them individually using the 20-point scale. So 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, all the way up into 10, 20-point scale. And after we rate all 5 categories, we then combine all of those categories together and to give us our overall score for each person. And then we bring those 2 scores together to give the overall final score for whatever we're reviewing. In this case, Demon Slayer Mugen Train. So where do you want to start off, Tel?
Let's go with where we both kind of get a little bit of a difference, and that's sound design.
Copy that. What do you mean by a little bit of a difference?
So you watched the dub.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the sub.
Mm-hmm.
So we get a little bit of difference in terms of like how the voice actors were, but everything else should be the same.
Absolutely.
So where do you sit on well, let's look at this. My idea of the sound design, there was a lot of it was just really, really good, especially for
before we get to that, sorry, real quick. So the one of the 5 categories is the 5 categories are, I should say this first: animation, sound design, pacing, plot, and characters. So we're going to start off with sound design, like Tel said, and that includes the soundtrack composition, sound effects, and how well the sounds tied into the visuals. So keep that in mind when we're reviewing this. Sorry about that.
Right. So overall for sound design, like the voice acting to me was the best part of it, especially towards the more emotional scenes. The emotional scenes really, really hit hard for me. Now, when they are fighting and you hear the swords swooshing around and the train moving, and when they were going into the dream world and they kind of, you're in the world with the snow and whatnot. A lot of that really, like in terms of the sound, to me, they paid a lot of attention to detail. Just wasn't like the best I've seen, but it was still really good. So I gave sound design an 8.5.
Okay. Yeah. So again, like as he stated, I watched the dub. Okay. Now, those of you who are familiar with us, with the review system, we don't really rank the voice acting a part of the sound design, but I am going to mention the dub voice acting. And me not being a sub elitist or anything special like that, the dub, if you close your eyes, it was good. If you didn't know who was talking, what character was who, the actors performed well. I want to get that clear. The actors performed well. Tel said there were some emotional scenes. They performed that shit well, but it just opening my eyes and looking at the characters, and when it comes out of their mouths, it did not feel right. Now, I want to state that it was the 3 main characters who sound the absolute worst for me. Mm-hmm. Everybody else, side characters, villains, sounded great, which was weird to me because normally it's the opposite. The side characters was fucking phenomenal. They had Matthew Mercer as the head of the Demon Slayer Corps. So the dude with the veins and shit. So he fucking killed it. Obviously, it's Matthew Mercer. He was, he had a very short scene. But their fucking flame pillar, amazing. A fucking amazing voice actor in English. Like I was shocked. I'm like, oh shit, he's actually really fucking good. He's killing it. But everybody else, Inosuke, Zenitsu, and Tanjiro sounds fucking awful. It just don't work. But outside of that, music, beautifully done composition. Like seriously, the music was spectacular. And it was a more emphatic sound design than it was in the show, obviously, because it was movie budget quality.
Right.
And then the some of the sound effects that happened between the fights, fucking incredible. Like Fire Force incredible. For me, it was a lot better than it. And again, these are theater thoughts, so it's a little bit harder to wrap my head around because obviously basses hit, shit was louder.
That Dolby Atmos and
of course, right. With that into consideration, I'm going to give it an 8.5 myself. I'm right there with you. Like it wasn't Fire Force, but there was scenes that had Fire Force quality-esque.
Right.
But it wasn't that standoutish. Beautiful music though.
Yeah.
Carried by the music.
But it was also it was a movie, right? So you expected the music to be a lot more impactful than if you're watching a regular series. Yeah. So I agree. The music was on point for it, but there's just other stuff it was okay.
Yeah, right.
What's the next one you want to do?
Let's do something that was weird for me, and I'm gonna say plot. The plot obviously takes place right after the end of season 1 of Demon Slayer, so it like literally picks up the continuation from that. And again, I'm not going to go into details or spoilers of the plot yet. That's after this review. But there was a part of the plot that came in out of fucking nowhere that did not make any sense. It felt like it was a deleted scene somewhere that didn't bridge kind of what happened, and that's the final fight. Why did it happen? Who decided that it was going to happen? Like, it felt like something missing. It was a gap in that, which felt weird. Before that, the plan of the antagonist was strong. He had some motivations, but this goes into like the character problem in Demon Slayer. Sometimes they don't fully deliver on relatability.
Yeah.
So the plot is the overall story and how it was written and how the story resonated with us as a viewer. Yeah, for me, it was cool. Like it was good. I just didn't fucking understand one gap in there that had me think like, what the fuck? Why did that happen though? You know what I mean? It was just one piece. Outside of that, enjoyed it all. I fucking love this story. Like way better than I did almost any other story in Demon Slayer, to be honest. I give this story a 9. Minus if that one plot hole wasn't there, it would be a 10 for me. Story had me captivated the entire time. Jaw to the floor. Emotional. It was very emotional. And yeah, I think this was one of the stronger stories in Demon Slayer for me.
So I agree that it was about the similar plot holes, and it almost felt like where they inserted that specific issue you were speaking of, to me felt like it made the villain that felt like it was supposed to be the main villain, the whole title villain, like a secondary villain almost. Like our Mugen Train villain wasn't the main villain anymore. And yeah, while I do think that final fight was cool,
incredible,
it took a lot away from the credibility of what we saw, but also like kind of gave the other credibility, but still lost his credibility as well.
Yes.
So there was kind of like too many levels in that for me. A lot of what happened on the train I thought was really cool.
Fantastic. Yes.
I wish that they would have given that main, what felt like was supposed to be the whole title of the movie. Wish they would have given that one a little bit more, like, I guess, more to it.
Yeah.
You know? So I gave the plot an 8 out of 10. So yeah.
I completely understand why. I just felt the story just resonated with me a lot more than I ever thought it would.
I mean, no, I agree.
Yeah.
Especially like in their personal dream worlds,
Mm-hmm.
like Rengoku's dream to me.
Fire, literally,
Like
figuratively.
this man can't even find happiness in his dreams for real.
Crazy.
Bro. All right. Let's go to characters.
Man, to be honest, this solved a big problem for me that I had with Tanjiro. I always since the show, since I started watching the show, I always felt like Tanjiro was just kind of like bland. Outside of like the first episode, I feel like he was just kind of a dull main character who was, I'm good, so I'm gonna do good. I'm pure, so I'm gonna be pure. Yeah, I'm just kind of just rocking with it. And again, characters are reliability, overall development, growth of the characters, and were they memorable? This one literally opened up my eyes to Tanjiro as a character. His development, his again growth, and he was literally the character in
The
this
focal point. He was everything.
Yeah, and I felt it's crazy because again, we're gonna get into it in the spoiler talk, but there was one scene that was reminiscent of another one of our favorite shows of all time that blew me all the way the fuck back. And I'm like, I know
exactly what you're talking about.
I know you know what I'm talking about. I respect him so much more now than I've ever have in past. Tanjiro is a better character for this movie. He's a stronger character for this movie, and he's a much more likable character for this movie. So for me, the impact of the characters of this movie, Zenitsu still trash to me outside of him, thank God, being asleep for most of it. Inosuke
made him good.
exactly that's what made him good. Inosuke, fucking phenomenal the entire episode. He's one of my favorite characters in the entire show. And then obviously the Hashirama, fucking fire, pun intended. He's incredible. So and that point that you made about him in his dream world, the fact that he still always was smiling almost no matter what, with that, fucking it resonated with me so well. So for me, the characters is also a 9.
So
the characters imply kind of carry this movie. Well, I'm not gonna say that.
Yeah, because there's one more
part. I'm tripping.
So yeah, the characters to me this was one of the better showing for the characters for Demon Slayer. So I agree with you. I actually also agree that Zenitsu is very weak in the entirety of the movie. He had his one moment. His dream world though, I thought was hilarious.
Straight up.
I was like, I
laughed out loud.
Also, Inosuke's dream world was fucking also hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just felt creative, and it felt like these are who these characters are, right? So those were actually very good character building moments to like see inside the mind of these characters. But then you go into like Tanjiro's character world or his dream world, and it was like
so strong. It
was like when they got to like his soul part, the vibrancy and that shit just hit home. And we'll talk about that a little bit more because there's a specific part of that just really resonated with me as well. Rengoku, 100% an amazing character. And even like the surprise villain at the end, I kind of liked his character as well. Just like the overall tenacity and willpower of that character to me just seemed amazing. Tanjiro showing at the end, like his moment where he had to yell.
Dude, the dub, if you close your eyes, that dub voice actor killed that shit.
Killed it. Bro, I believe you. I believe you because I was feeling it. I was in the mood too. I gave the characters a 9.
Yeah. Fire, man. Fire. Next, I feel like we should go to the pacing, episode to episode, or in this case, moment to moment. The strength and the continuity and how the story developed and unfolded as the movie went on. So yeah, you want to start?
You want to start this one? Okay, I'll take it. Let me take it because the pacing to me was one of the weaker parts.
Yes,
for me. This, I understand this is supposed to be like an entire arc. It felt like it fit well into a movie, but there were parts of it that just felt slow. Like they didn't need to necessarily be there, or like the pacing was inadequate. like there were some moments when I felt like they were supposed to be sad, but then sometimes it felt like a little dragged, or other moments where I just felt like we just didn't necessarily need the entirety of that whole scene. It wasn't the worst pacing I've seen. It just was slightly above average in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave the pacing an 8 because it was just like, it was good. It wasn't horrible, but it was just like, for how well everything else performed, the pacing stood out to me as like, they could have given us, like I said, what I wanted more of was they could have given us more of that demon train fight, making that seem like that character was more significant by how they showcase things. It's more or less, I guess, how I feel. And given the characters, I guess, more overall pacing, like the moments for the characters to really shine, like we only really had I guess we had 3 characters really shine in this like they were supposed to. But I guess they could have given that spread that time out a little bit better to make it not feel like this part was meaningless, but it was long into this part that came out of nowhere. I guess is kind of how I feel. It's almost like kind of how I feel about the plot.
Yeah, for me, the pacing is where I was I kind of categorized that final fight. It's kind of where I categorized the pacing being the problem for me, because it kind of, and to me personally, tells a little bit different clearly, but I think the beginning of this was the perfect arc to make a movie, because episode to episode it should be way too slow. But I think as a movie as a whole, it was perfectly paced at the beginning, from when, you know, they're on the train, you know, the situation happens, and then they dream. That pacing to me was perfect. Everybody got their equal time. Obviously, main character a little bit more than the others.
Yeah. And
then when a fight happened, it felt like that was rushed to get to that other fight that just happened to pop up out of nowhere. The second half of the movie was where the pacing became a problem for me, and that's why I rate the pacing a 7.5, but the story a 9, because the story was fucking great, but the pacing of that second half of the movie was kind of like bang, bang, bang. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which kind of threw off a lot of the movie. But I do think this movie, there would be no better way to do it, right? Well, obviously there was some better way to do it. Just make the movie a little longer. And I feel like they were afraid to do that, so they cut out some stuff. And that screwed the pacing all the way up for me. They could have made this a 2.5 hour movie. I think gave it another 30 minutes. Maybe, you know, we learn why they decided to do what they did, or, you know, send who they sent, I guess, in this particular case. It didn't vibe right with the pacing, because it just felt definitely sped up at the end there. So for me, that's why I got a 7.5. All right, last but certainly not fucking least, the easiest part of the rating: animation, art style, visual, direction, scenery, overall viewing experience. It's a 10. I'm not even fucking.
There's no real reason to talk about it.
There's no fucking reason to even talk about it anymore. It's a 10. And I think we both give it 10s, right?
Yeah, we on that same page.
Okay. So while Tell tallies up the scores for each of us, I just want to say subscribe to our YouTube channel, please. We appreciate that. Link will be in the show notes. And then I promised Rob J that I was going to get a Spotify playlist done. It's not going to be done this week, sadly, because I forgot about it. But I will make sure we get Spotify playlist with all the lo-fi joints that we use during the break, all in one spot for you, so you can hear it all. The playlist is going to be so fire. It's going to be incredible. Looking forward to it. And also, I'm looking forward to Demon Slayer season 2. For fucking sure. But after we get this score, we're going to go ahead and talk full spoilers. Man, I've been fucking teasing myself with these spoilers, but I'm ready. I'm ready to talk about it.
So we gave this series, well, Polo gave it a 8.8 out of 10, with a 10 in animation, 8.5 in sound design, 7.5 in pacing, 9 in plot, and 9 in characters. It got an 8.7 out of 10 from me, with a 10 in animation, 8.5 in sound design, 8 in pacing, 8 in plot, and 9 in characters. Which overall is 8.75 on the Mic Check Waifu scale, which actually puts it right, basically right next to its original score, 8.8.
Yeah, right below. What was it? 8.75.
Yeah, 8.75.
So above Erased, below fucking Beastars. Jesus Christ. Okay, so let's talk about our
animation was a 10.
Let's talk about our rated anime. We have 22, 91 days. Banana Fish is number 20. 91 days is not 6.4. Banana Fish is 7.3. Dr. Stone is 7.8. My Hero Season 4 specifically 7.9. Gangsta 7.95. Chivalry of a Fell Knight 7.95. Bungo Stray Dogs 8.4. Darwin's Game at number 14 at 8.5. Made in Abyss. Shout out to Blanda Made in Abyss. Number 13 is at 8.5. Steins Gate 8.65. Erased 8.75. Demon Slayer Mugen Train movie 8.85 or 8.75. Beastars 8.85. Demon Slayer 8.8. Vinland Saga 9.25. Grimgar 9.3. Promised Neverland 9.3. Fire Force 9.35. All right. Fire Force 9.35. MTC series. What is that? Do we both forget? It's high as fuck.
Hold up.
What is MTC? Series?
I don't know. I ain't put that in there. There's got to be something.
MTC series 9.45. I don't remember. Fuck. KnY 9.8 at number 3. Jujutsu Kaisen.
My Teen Romantic Comedy.
My Teen Romantic. I'm fucking drunk. Okay. My Teen Romantic Comedy series, because we rated the series as a whole 9.45. Yes. Definitely worth. Real good rating.
Yes.
We're tripping. KnY 9.8. Jujutsu Kaisen 9.86. Shout out to Noxy PM. Number 1. Astro Lost in Space at 10. Fire, dude. Fire. All right. Now,
Rengoku, dude. Rengoku.
Now, we will go into full spoilers of Demon Slayer Mugen Train. Full spoilers. No host bar. If you haven't seen it, pause the podcast, come back and visit us now. Full spoilers for Demon Slayer Mugen Train. This is your final warning. Let's go.
That opening scene, bro. I can tell. I thought I was confused. I was like,
is this real life?
Is this real life?
Is live action? What the fuck is going on here?
Going on?
I felt the same way. I'm like, what the fuck?
I was like, there's no way Ufotable popped off like this.
Straight up.
For the opening scene. Like, it just turned on. I'm just like, bro.
Never. I never seen CGI that looks this good in anime before. In my life. In my life.
Fact.
It was blended so fucking well with the animation. I was blown back. The part that didn't look as good was the demon, like when he got all mushy and shit.
Yeah, that was the only part that didn't look good, but I swear everything else was so good I didn't even care.
Oh my god, me either. The Rengoku fucking shit, dude.
The snow.
My gosh, man.
Like, and then when I was talking about like the animation, I didn't really want to jump too much into it. So that opening scene really had me shook on how beautiful it was. And then when they were in Tanjiro's like dream and they were like scaling around like the forest and it was snowing,
yes.
It just felt like they were in like a real world, but
yes.
like with the camera going around looking at Tanjiro. I'm like, what the fuck is Tanjiro doing in this real world walking around like that?
I don't know how the fuck they gave us this animation, like cartoon, like animated, drawn foreground that felt 3D. But it wasn't. It was still drawn. It was like CGI, but not CGI, but 3D, but not. Fucking crazy, bro. The layers. the
blew my whole
trees,
mind back.
the trees in that forest you were just talking about, the layers between them, the space. Oh my God, they did.
They seemed like an actual forest. Like it was.
Yes.
It didn't seem like, you know how sometimes they just line trees up like they were all like meant like a checkerboard. Like, that's stupid. Why would you do that? It felt like you were actually in the woods or a forest where the trees were just like like sporadic, but it didn't seem out of place. They did a great job.
The best part too is with the direction, right? When they were on an actual train fighting, when Tanjiro was fighting in that tight, closed space, you could feel the sense of like the claustrophobia in that space where he was trying to fight the demon and shit. But real quick, I gotta mention, why the fuck did they send the upper third demon there?
I don't know if he was sent though, right? Like, how
else? Why else?
I think he just pulled up.
But like, why?
That's what bothered me, is because it felt like he just pulled up, like he didn't actually have a reason to be there.
That's what I was hoping. Like, that's why I feel like it was a deleted scene. Michael Jackson had to say, like, "Hey, go," because I just sensed, one of my kids dying. Something they could have did anything, bro. I was just like,
don't care about the lower demons.
But yeah, but why? Why would the upper three be there then?
I don't know, bro. But let's just, I don't know. That's what made me like really question that. Like, it felt like he was out of place. Like him being there, like it was a dope moment in the fight. Like the fight was dope, but there was no reason for him to actually be there.
The movie could have ended.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
if the movie would have ended, it still would have felt cut short, though, right? Like, but we would have got a resolution and we would have been moved on, and then they would have had to jump straight into the anime. It's like, all right, this is what happens right after that, which probably wouldn't have been bad.
No,
but anime budget, they had that money, might as well animate it, right?
Oh shit, I forgot to mention. Never mind. I'll talk about it after the show. But I didn't get that. That was the only part that had me like, yeah, why'd you pop up? But the fight itself, fucking incredible. Rengoku.
I loved them boarding the train. I loved how they explained like the actual demon's power.
Yes.
Like with him infusing his blood with the tickets, and stamping the ticket means you go to sleep. That whole concept to me, I thought that was really cool. But like, they started to kind of like this demon that's well planned out, well thought out, kind of devolved into like, I'm super well planned out, into the okay, this is an all out brawl and I'm hiding, more or less, rather than like fighting. He felt like for a demon, like we had what's his name, Ruri or whatever his name was, the spider demon dude. He was all about action, right? Straight smoke. He was trying to kill everything. But this demon, while he was able to fight, it felt like his whole fight was self-defense. Like he was defending himself from being killed rather than being the attacker. And
trying to eat too. Like you're just trying to eat humans.
Right.
Like, yeah, it felt weird.
Right. So that was part of my issue with that character themselves.
I see what you're saying.
But like the character didn't bother me. Like I liked the character.
Yeah,
it was more
too.
like they just put him on the back heel the whole time.
Yes.
Which felt like how he gets surprised so bad when he'd been planning this for however long, and he knew that Rengoku was here. So he should have had, like, I don't know, it felt like he should have had a plan for it.
Yeah, I feel like why did it feel like he thought he could beat Rengoku if Rengoku was by himself? When it was clear as fucking day, he wouldn't be able to fucking fuck with Rengoku at all.
It was free. Rengoku got that for free.
Easy, yeah.
So, but like, Tanjiro, Inosuke, Zenitsu would have a problem, but that's what you were talking about when you were talking about Zenitsu, or not Zenitsu, Tanjiro kind of blew you back when he had him sleep and he was in the middle of the fight and he like
killing himself, bro. Yes, that he it was his Subaru moment. But I'm thought about like, damn, how fucking strong do you have to be to realize like I'm falling asleep? But I know the way to wake up, just kill myself in my dream. So he's doing that over and over
instantly too. Like he gets into the dream and then like they kind of give us that flash where he sees like what dude is showing him in the dream.
Yep.
And he says like, my family would never say that to me, and just boom, get back out the dream.
Yep.
Let me come for that neck. And
when what's crazy is, I'm so sorry. What's so crazy is that the moment that he was running at him when he was still in his human form, the antagonist was still in his human form. He was running at him and he was hitting him with it, foul, and he was falling and he would come back up. I instantly knew what he was doing. And that's what blew me back. That's what blew me back. I'm like, this motherfucker is Subaru right now. And I'm like, he's literally doing this right now in the middle of a fucking fight. It was crazy emotional for me. And that's what made me fall in love with him more. I'm like, you got to be mentally powerful.
But that wasn't even the only part. It was more of the part that when he initially went to the dream, seeing him like react to his family, and that overall sense of like him being comfortable around them. That whole scenario to me was just like heartwarming.
Growth, more so character.
That kind of hit hard for me. And then when they went into his like soul, his spirit like realm part, the fact that his soul itself was like, yeah, we know you're here to hurt us, but like, you know, I'll take you here. And that like you didn't have a choice but to feel warm about how he overall was. It was an endless void of just like peace and calmness. Mm-hmm. And the only thing I wanted to see was when that upper three ran away, what that inner soul looked like, because boy was Tanjiro
pissed.
I loved that, bro. That's another moment that made me love Tanjiro. I was like, he goes up on the character list for that too. Yeah. Like he was straight. He was like, he took his sword, lit that bitch over and threw it, hit him in the back. And I was like, let's go, Tanjiro. You all smoke. He like, let's spark. He like, we sit here and fight you at a disadvantage every single chance we get.
Yes.
And all you can do is run. All you can do is run because you can't handle this. It was beautiful.
It was wonderful.
Like,
that was one of my favorite parts of the entire thing. But my other favorite part comes from my favorite character, Inosuke. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When
Inosuke was amazing in this movie.
And fucking incredible. The eyes were in the middle trying to protect his neck. And he was falling asleep, cutting himself. I got to keep my eyes open. I got to keep my eyes closed. I got to keep my eyes closed. He kept his eyes closed, coming back to life, and he was about to fucking cut himself in real life. I literally squeezed the side of my fucking chair so hard. I know fucking Tanjiro wasn't going to die, but I squeezed my chair so hard, like, no, because he was about to kill himself in real life. And Nosuke comes down like, you're not sleeping, motherfucker.
Stupid.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? And Nosuke was like, bro, don't do that stupidness.
Yeah. That part was sick, man. That part was real sick. And the fact that they couldn't put him back to sleep because of the mask and he didn't know where he was looking, I'm like, this shit is sick.
Yeah. It was dope. Like also like because that's well thought out because you can't really tell where he's looking because the eyes on the mask just look wherever, right?
Yep.
Like you don't know where he's actually looking.
Dude, beast form. His beast form is so good.
His beast style. And you know what I did like also too that kind of just built the lore of the world a little bit more when they were talking about there's always been a fire and a water Hashira, right? Mm-hmm. He was saying that the other forms after like outside of the top 5 or regular 5 are all just like offshoots. And the beast style, what is that an offshoot of? Is that the offshoot of like the wind? Is that an offshoot of the earth?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that's super cool because we do know that Inosuke didn't have a master. He just learned by himself.
Yep, in the mountains, which is fucking sick.
He's a demon.
Straight demon.
Fucking monster. Meanwhile, Zetsu in the fucking train, half sleep.
Is that why is Demon Slayer the reason why Demon became like our slogan?
Could be.
It's crazy. It's fucking,
oh man.
Is that fucking demon, man?
Now Rengoku obviously is a fucking GOAT tier character, bro.
Yeah, man. Easily.
He earned a spot in my heart.
Yes.
Specifically for like his overall fight. Like cause how he fought.
And we both love the fire element too. So it's like it's like our shit.
It's our shit. And but yes, fucking Rengoku, he earned a spot in my heart. But like also when he went to his world, his dream, and he had that talk with his father, he came out, his brother was like, what if I become a Hashira too? Will dad love me too? And he's like, look, I'm gonna be honest.
He didn't even give a fuck. Me.
Dad's not happy with me being a Hashira. He doesn't care. But don't let that kill your spirit. Keep your spirit burning. I was like, let's go, Rengoku. Because the reality is, it's like he said to his brother, you have something that I don't have. And that's a brother who loves you and will support you. Right. And I'm just like, that's a fact.
That is a fact.
Because like you got a big brother who's gonna look out for you. And he went out there. And even though obviously Rengoku dies at the end, he put everything on the line. He gave us like a Might Guy, set your spirit ablaze moment, and went hard, bro. Rengoku won. I don't care what nobody says.
Yeah, easy.
He did not take that L because dude had to run one, and Rengoku he gave up everything to make sure dude this ain't no everyday fight right here. Right. This is gonna be either your last fight or you're gonna remember this forever.
Yeah. And what's cool about what this movie did was the way it showed everybody's subconscious. It was so good. He obviously has the burning passion, so his was the molting fire and shit. When they showed the way they showed, and what made the plot so good for me was the way they showed everybody else's dream, like subconscious, before they sold Tanjiro's. Was it put into perspective how pure he is, which 100% made sense for all the shit that he did in the past episodes and shit. So much more valid for me, like him crying whenever he killed a demon because he felt bad. Like that shit earned Tanjiro a higher place in my fucking character list too. Like him obviously screaming at that upper three was important. Like it was the most important part of the entire movie, but understanding who he is and why he was a huge help for that.
I'm gonna be real with you. Tanjiro in this movie was a 10 out of 10 himself.
Facts.
He was a whole 10. Rengoku was a 10. It was the other stuff around those two that wasn't 10s. Inosuke was a 10.
Okay, so for one, Rengoku's mom is a waifu.
True.
She was bad.
With red eyes.
Yep. Fucking Nezuko was so cute. I couldn't stand it. Cute. I couldn't stand it.
She just didn't have enough time to shine.
I know. She just was put on the back burner when it was Zenitsu, and I didn't like that at all. And that's all I got. I love this movie though. I love this movie so much.
It was a really good movie. I want to actually watch it in dub.
You should, and I'll rewatching the sub when it comes to the streaming services. Dub wasn't bad. It wasn't as bad. Like it took me about 30 minutes or so to get used to hearing it because I kept doing this. But once I got adjusted, my head got adjusted to what they sounded like. I was able to watch it fine and become attached to the moment to moment happenings of the movie.
Right.
All right, let's wrap it up, bro.
All right, so we just finished spoiler talk on our Mugen Train Demon Slayer movie. Let us know what you thought about it. What did you rate it? Is Mike Check Waifu's 8.75 good enough? We think so. Could be a little bit better, maybe, but hey, it's right up there with the original series. We had our break, and then we also had Get to Know Mike Check Waifu. What do you guys do to stay fit? If you do anything at all, let us know. We also talked about how Tokyo Revengers and Vivi are both series that you should be watching right now. Don't sleep on them. If you are, you need to get on that. We also had a spoiler-free Demon Slayer talk. So if you made it this far, you probably already been spoiled. But if you made it to the end for whatever reason, you skip right here. We had the spoiler talk for you. Polo also talked about Nagatoro and how he was almost fed up with the series. And you know what? He good now because they kind of giving other signs.
Yes, sir.
We also talked about how we can't sit through a couple of series. Polo can't sit through Shaman King right now. And that 2 Year Eternity, I almost turned it off on that second half of that episode. It just wasn't really that good.
Interesting.
Shadow's House, a personal series I'm personally enjoying. Let us know if you watch it. Is it a slice of life or no? Polo says no. Also, this Vegeta backdrop. I'm bringing you your daily dose of Mike Check Waifu chaos if we have any. And then Polo also talked about Osamaki the rom-com childhood friend who won't lose, which I'm adding that to the list.
Very good. Very fucking good.
That's been episode 97.
I'm at Polo Born Fly on all social media.
I'm at King Teliano on all social media.
You can follow our social medias at Mike Check Waifu on Twitter and at Mike Check Waifu on Instagram. And as always, Mike Check.
I love that echo.
好きなの。予行練習なんて全部嘘。You're now tuned into Mike Check Waifu Waifu.